There are people who, from the very moment they are born, were never meant to belong to this world. Not because they are weak, not because they are broken, but because their souls carry a different frequency, a rhythm the majority cannot hear. Carl Jung called this the mark of otherness. A soul that enters life with eyes that see more deeply, a heart that feels more profoundly, and a sensitivity that leaves them forever out of step with the crowd. If you have ever known this feeling, as if you were watching life through a pane of glass, never truly able to touch it, then perhaps you are one of the very souls Jung once spoke of. Stay with me, because in the second sign, you'll discover why even a single social encounter can leave you drained for days. Jung believed that this sense of not belonging to the world is not a flaw to be fixed. It is a calling of the soul, reminding you that you carry within you a different kind of awareness. Most people live inside the collective consciousness, a shared rhythm of beliefs, habits, and social norms. But Jung discovered that some individuals bear this mark of otherness. They cannot fully dissolve into the crowd because they are here not only to exist, but to see and to awaken. And the very first sign of this begins with the way they perceive reality. Have you ever noticed that you perceive things other people completely overlook? A room may seem ordinary to everyone else, yet to you, the atmosphere carries an invisible color. You enter a conversation, and instead of only hearing the words, you feel what hides within the silence, the glance of the eyes, the pauses between sentences. Jung called this differentiated consciousness. While most people see the world through a single shared lens, you perceive many layers at once. The layer of the present, the layer of emotion, the layer of symbol. You don't just see the surface, you sense the current flowing beneath it. Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." For you, life is not just a chain of events. It is a mosaic of symbols, a sudden dream, a strange coincidence, a nameless sorrow that seems to whisper a hidden message. Where others see only randomness, you recognize a thread that connects. And yet, this gift can also make you feel lonely. You share what you perceive, and others dismiss you as dreamy or too sensitive. They do not realize that your eyes are simply looking into a depth they have never touched. If you have ever seen yourself in this sign, whisper quietly to yourself, "I have seen." And don't leave yet, because what comes next will explain why the very presence of crowds can drain the life out of you. Perhaps you've experienced this before. After a party, a meeting, or even just a long conversation, you return home completely drained. Not tired in your body, but as if the very life force within you has been pulled away. Carl Jung called this introverted intuition. While many people feel energized by crowds, you lose your vitality every time you immerse yourself in them. Because you don't just hear the words being spoken, you absorb what lies beneath them. You sense the anger someone suppresses, the sadness another hides, the insecurity behind a forced smile. Imagine having to speak with several people while at the same time listening to layers of emotion they never put into words. That is why even a small gathering can leave you more exhausted than an entire day of labor. Jung once shared, "Solitude is for me a fountain of healing which makes my life worth living." If you find yourself needing long stretches of quiet after social encounters, if you rediscover who you are only when sitting alone, reading a book, or writing in your journal, then you are living with the second mark Jung described. And here is a simple practice you can try. After each social gathering, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and exhale for 6. As you breathe, place your hand on your chest and whisper, "This energy does not belong to me." Just 30 seconds, and you will feel so much lighter. Solitude is not escape. It is how your soul recharges, so you can keep showing up in a world that is too loud. There are times when you don't feel like you are truly participating in society at all, but rather as if you are watching it from the outside. The social rituals, the repeated habits, the unspoken rules of interaction, they all appear before you as though life were a play and you were only in the audience. Jung called this objective consciousness. It allows you to step outside the current that sweeps most people along and to clearly see the social structures others take part in unconsciously. You find yourself asking, why do people do this? Why is a small gesture considered polite? Why does something irrational become a norm that everyone simply accepts? While others are absorbed in their roles on the stage, you see the stage itself. You see the masks, the power games, the compromises the majority calls normal. Jung once emphasized, the individual has always had to struggle not to be overwhelmed by the tribe. If you have ever felt like an anthropologist dropped into a foreign tribe, observing their customs and rituals from a distance, then this is a clear sign. And wait until the seventh sign, when you'll understand why the deepest darkness in your life may in fact become your greatest gift. This sense of separation was never meant to make you lonely. It was given to you so that you could see what the crowd has long forgotten. Think back to the times you've met someone in power, a boss, a teacher, a person with a title. They wanted your obedience. But instead of respect, what rose inside you was resistance. Carl Jung observed that souls marked with otherness often react strongly to illegitimate authority. This is not blind rebellion, it is instinct. An instinct shaped by what Jung called the archetype of the wise ruler. Deep within your soul, you carry a compass for authentic authority. You can sense immediately when someone uses power only to manipulate, to feed their ego, to control others, and when it carries no wisdom and no love. Jung once said, "Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking." Perhaps you've been called difficult, stubborn, or disrespectful to authority. But the truth is, you cannot force yourself to honor those who wear a title but lack true character. You see through their facade, and that makes it hard for you to fit into systems built on hollow authority. This is not a flaw. It is proof that within you lives a deep sense of what real power should be. Power rooted in love, in service, in wisdom. Ask yourself this. If every title were stripped away, would you still respect them? And that is why you cannot pretend. You were born to seek or to create forms of leadership grounded in truth and compassion. Have you ever achieved something that everyone around you praised, yet deep inside, all you felt was emptiness? Maybe it was a diploma, a stable career, a high salary, and they told you, you've succeeded. But your heart whispered back, this is not everything. Carl Jung observed that some souls will never find fulfillment in society's conventional measures of success. They are pulled by a different force, what Jung called the transcendent function, a force that drives them to seek meaning and wholeness rather than settling for status, wealth, or recognition. For you, success is not about how much you have, but whether you are truly living as yourself. You would rather live a simple life, but an honest one, than achieve dazzling accomplishments that feel foreign to your soul. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Perhaps this is why you have always felt uneasy walking the path society laid out for you. Because deep down, you know, that road does not lead you home. Ask yourself, if no one were watching, would you still choose to do this? Conventional success is like a ready-made suit. It may look fine, it may even be expensive, but it will never quite fit you. You must tailor your own garment, a life woven from the fabric of your truth. Some people see only the literal surface of things. To them, a dream is nothing more than a random fragment of the mind. A fairy tale is nothing but entertainment for children. But for you, they speak another language, the language of the soul. Carl Jung discovered that certain individuals are naturally fluent in the language of symbols. They understand that dreams are not accidents, but subtle messages from the unconscious. They recognize the eternal patterns, the archetypes, woven into every story, the hero, the shadow, the journey, the rebirth. Jung once affirmed, dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. For you, a symbol is never just an image, it is a doorway. You read an ancient tale and see reflected in it the outline of your own journey. You watch a film and recognize the eternal cycle of humanity playing itself out again. You notice synchronicities and feel they are not random at all, but delicate arrangements whispered from the deeper layers of the universe. This gives you a strange kind of advantage. You see meaning where others see only events. You find answers where others see only questions. And yet, this gift can sometimes make you feel distant. Because modern society often glorifies logic and linear reason, while you live through the deeper language of symbol. Tonight, before you sleep, try writing down a dream and give it a name. You may be surprised at what your soul is trying to tell you. The world may not understand you, but Jung would remind you of this. You are not lost. You are speaking a higher language, the language of the soul. Perhaps you've lived through seasons of deep darkness, when everything in your life seemed to collapse. Losses no one else could understand, crises that felt meaningless to everyone but you. Others may have looked at you and seen only failure, only collapse. But only you know that the darkness transformed you from within. Carl Jung called this the dark night of the soul. Those who carry the mark of otherness often must walk through darkness many times, and with each descent, they are reborn anew. Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When you face your pain, you are never the same person again. Every collapse becomes a rebirth. And because you have been broken, you become what Jung called the wounded healer. You understand the suffering of others because you have walked through it yourself. This is not punishment. This is preparation. And if you find yourself in darkness right now, remember this: the light is not out there somewhere. It lives within the very darkness you are carrying. And this is the final mark. Even though you may have felt you don't belong to this world, deep within, you still hear a calling, an urge you cannot ignore, to help this world awaken, to help it heal, to help it become whole. Carl Jung called such individuals carriers of consciousness. They are like small flames, quietly lighting the darkness so others may find their way. You may not have chosen to become a healer or a guide, but often it is your very journey that transforms you into one. Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Your authentic presence, with all its differences, becomes a mirror for others. You don't have to force yourself to awaken humanity. You simply need to be yourself. And from that place, your light will naturally spread. So if you have ever thought of yourself as lost, as not belonging here, remember this: it is not that you are wrong. It is only that the world has not yet grown enough to hold you. You are the one who goes ahead, a scout of consciousness. The feeling of not belonging is not a mistake. It is your mission. You did not come here to blend in. You came to show another way. Carl Jung once reminded us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You are not broken. You are a turning point. You are not lost. You are the one who clears the path. You are not too sensitive for this world. This world needs your sensitivity. Which sign do you see yourself in? Leave a dove in the comments. A small reminder that you no longer walk in silence alone. And remember, this world may never have been designed for you, but perhaps you were born to help redesign this world.